Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Future Dimensions 360. As you guys know, in our last tutorial, we had talked about use effect hook. You guys have learned that how we are using use effect hook. What is use effect hook? Use effect hook is a alternate for component did mount, component did update, and component will unmount methods of class lifecycle. There is one important point you guys need to keep in mind is that use effect hook will run after every render and re-render of the component. But there is some sort of scenarios in which in each render will might cause a performance issue. Today's tutorial we will be discussing about some example in which we will be learning that every render of use effect is not necessary, how we can run use effect conditionally in our React.js application. So for the people or viewers or students who are not familiar with class-based component, I will be using first class component to achieve our example or scenario with the help of class component. Later on, we will be implementing the same using functional component and hooks. So I will take a similar example of my last tutorial, same as I had done a class counter here with constructor that's keep a counter component did mount will put an initial title of the document with counter value. Later on, component did update will help us to update the counter value in each re-render or each update. So let's go on. Let's go to app.js, try to comment out hook counter and try to uncomment class counter, and let's go to uh, Google Chrome and see in our browser how it looks like. See, in each click my title is updating. Click 5 times. As counter is updating, the title is getting update. Why? Because firstly, whenever the class component is rendered, component did mount method will be called. In each re-render, component did update will be called. Any kind of update happen in previous state and previous props, component did update will be called. Now I want another thing is name equals to an empty string, and what I want here is I want to update this name. How can I update this name is I will say there is an input type is text, for example, and the value is this dot sorry, I will just destructure the name here, name, and I'll just put it here name, and I'll say on change I have to create some method. For example, I'll say here is change name method is equals to this, then arrow function, this dot set state. What I have to set in the state is, for example, I have to set the name equals to, I'll take event here as a parameter, e dot current target dot value. This will allow me to change the name of this input. For example, whatever is being added in this input will be passed with the help of this event to our state. So let's go ahead and try to see change name is not defined. So, okay, this dot change name, I have to do this dot change name. See, I'll just open an inspector with a console, and you guys can see as soon as I will write something, I am changing the counter values are getting changed. Let me go ahead and try to log here one statement to let you that this there is some sort of unnecessary things going on. I'll say document title changed. Now let me rerun it. For example, I am changing the title, document title changed one time, you have clicked one time. Again, the counter increment, the title is changed. Now what I want to do is here is, I will try to write down the name future dimensions 360. The title is not changed, it's still called as two times, but here you can see as many character I had entered, the log statement appeared in my console this much time. It's mean that this line of code is getting called again and again whenever I am trying to add some sort of text in this input. That is actually unnecessary. That to update the title with the same value again and again. So what we have to do here is we have to call this piece line of code on conditional statement. How? For example, simply I have to add an if statement, and with this if statement I have to say that because in this component did update we have an access to previous props and previous state variable. So I have to say that previous state dot counter does not equals to this dot state dot counter. Whenever your counter is not equal to previous state, the new counter, that time just set up the title for the document. Otherwise, just pass it as it is. Now let me reload. I'll say when I'm clicking here, you can see three times document is changed. The title is changed and it's getting called three times. And here, if I will write anything, nothing is logging here in my console. That's mean I am running the line of code on conditional basis because this setting up of document only is required when the counter is changed. If the counter doesn't change, no need to set up the title again. So same thing, let's go on and try to achieve it with the help of hook counter. In our hook counter, we have the same counter implemented already. Let me try to comment class-based component and hook counter. I will uncomment. And in hook counter, you guys can see like I have a state called counter and set counter. I'll create another state called name and set name. I have because I have to set up the name and initialize it with an empty string. I will copy this input from here to directly on top of this button, and I will say on unchain in on change what I have to do here is I have to pass an arrow function and I will say set name equals to here I will take an event as well as an input e dot current target dot value will be the one that will be set up here. So here what I have to do is I have to again log the console and that will say document title changed. So what I have to do here is I have one input, this one, and one button. As soon as you will click on the button, the counter got changed. The requirement is that whenever the counter is changed, the document title should be updated with the counter value. Other than that, you are going to add some sort of input, name or anything and any character in an input. In that scenario, no need to update this title. Let's save it and try to reload our page. You can see document title is changed as it's in strict mode. That's why it's updating twice. If you will remove the strict mode in your React application, the use effect will run only once on the first run. So let me try to click here. You can see document title changed three times because I clicked three times and counter got incremented three times. Now I will try to write future dimensions 360. Now you guys can see that the document title updated 21 times, but with the same value you have clicked three times. That's the actually same value. Why? Because our counter didn't increment it. So you guys need to know like how you can run the use effect hook conditionally. So what I want here in use effect hook is to let it to be run only when the counter value got changed. Otherwise, don't run it. How we can do that is use effect hook is a function that take a callback as a parameter that is running in on each render and re-render of the component. But in the use effect function will take the second parameter as an argument as well, and the second parameter is an array. and that array takes in the parameter that you want to add conditionally. For example, I want to tell to React to run this callback only on render and re-render of the component when the counter value got changed. So let's hit save and try to check in our browser if it works fine or no. Let's see, I clicked 3 times and the document title got changed 3 times. Now I will try to put name in future dimensions 360. So the value way is still unchanged. Like the name is changed already, but we are keeping the same title. It's not getting updated or unnecessarily up, you can say, overrided document title again and again. So this is, viewers, how you can run your use effect hook conditionally. I hope you guys understand it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.